Hello, this is WatchItAllAbout, giving you a review of the Parnis 200m diver. It's one of their first original designs because usually they just do homages of various other watches like the Submariner, the Milgauss, or a big pilot, IWC for instance. But this watch is one that they've designed themselves. It obviously still takes design cues from various other watches, but they've put it all together, and this is what they've come out with. So the feel of the watch, it is very well made. It's more expensive than any other Parnises because they're usually $70 upwards, but this new can fetch up to about $200, but it has got a lot higher spec than the usuals. So we'll go through that, and we'll see if it's actually worth the price. So firstly, starting from the top really, the crystal, sapphire crystal. If you tap it, it's a nice thud. It's not a mineral chink as you tap it. It goes dink, dink, dink if it's a mineral, but if it's sapphire, you get a nice solid thud. So it's very, very good, high quality, quite thick as well. You can see that it is more or less exactly in line with the bezel as well. And it also has a very slight layer of anti-reflective coating on the underside. So it does get rid of the majority of the reflections, not the reflections of like a direct light, for instance, but yeah, it does a fairly good job considering. So it's a very flat, nice clear crystal. The face, as you can see, has a nice wave pattern to it, very much like the Omega Seamaster, but it's quite shallow, not as wavy as a Seamaster or even a Christopher Ward C90 Trident, but it is nice. It's pretty flawless as well. You can see it in the sunlight. It gives different, depending on the angle of light, it gives a different reflection. So that's a nice touch. The hour markers, as you can see as well, they have a sort of baton with a arrow at the end. They're polished steel either side, and then an orange line in between. They're not loomed, those, the orange lines. The rehaut, or the line around the outside, is nice as well. You can see, I won't get too close because I haven't got macro lens fitted just yet. I'll put a macro lens on it later and you can see up close, but you can see it rises up nicely by a couple of mil up towards the crystal. Gives it a nice extra layer of depth to the dial, and it's a nice little extra. So it's chopped in on every hour marker as well. There is no tachymeter, as you can see. The bezel is a very nice touch as well, because it is also made of sapphire. So this inlay here is all sapphire. And later on, when I put the macro lens on, you'll be able to see just how nicely this is all engraved. It's very well made indeed. The only faults I have with it, sorry, let me just polish off the crystal. The only faults I have with it is that the loom pip at 12 is very slightly misaligned. You can see it there, which is a shame. And also it has got a little bit of wobble on it. You see that? That's loose. So that isn't clicking to the next position. That's just general wobble. And it is quite loose. But turning it, it's very nice and easy. I mean, for a diver's watch, it might tighten up underwater, but it would be easy just to knock it and nudge it, which wouldn't be good if you're actually diving, because this would obviously be used to tell how long you have left in your air tank. So if it's this loose underwater, then I wouldn't trust it personally, which is a shame. So the case is very well machined as well, all stainless steel. We have brushed side bits, brushed top, and this shoulder along here is polished, which is a nice little touch. Same on the other side. Nice little touch there, just for that little bit to be polished. The crown guards as well. Now this is where they've failed a little bit with the design, I think, because the crown looks weird, because usually a crown would come out from the crown guards. These crown guards, because they're so large, makes the crown look almost undersized, but obviously it's not. It's just that they do come out quite far. The crown hasn't got great grip, but it's not too hard to unscrew, thankfully, so it's not too bad. You can see it's got like slight indents and a P stamped on the end as well. Case back, nothing really to call home about. It's polished, has some general details on it there. The deployment clasp is okay. It has this Parnis on it, which is in a very ugly font. If it was just a plain sans serif like the logo, then it would have been better. But like the case back, actually, if I just had that, it would be better. But this is a really ugly font to have on the buckle, which is unfortunate. But it works well. The only thing is, it's not particularly. I think it would be quite easy to accidentally pop open, because it's just these two buttons either side, and it feels a little tiny bit loose. But it hasn't popped off me yet, and I have worn it for a number of days, so hopefully I'm wrong there. The hands are very much like an Omega Plot Prof. So the Plongeur Professional, which is the big one with the side bit and the button on top. You can see also the date window has a nice stainless steel border to it, so that gives it a nice little extra bit of quality as well. The movement is a Chinese clone of the ETA movement, running at 28.8 beats per hour, which is 8 ticks a second. It's a very smooth movement, no wobble on it at all. Very impressed with it as well. When you unscrew it to change it, or even to hand wind it, there's no horrible noises or horrible sounds coming out of it. Yeah, very impressed with the movement. It's keeping all right time as well, to be honest. The strap itself is quite thick, but as you can see, it's still stuck like that, which is a problem when you wear it, because it does dig into the sides of your wrists. And also, because it is still quite square, it hasn't rounded off yet, it does tend to slip like that, which is a bit annoying. So here's a quick wrist shot for you. It is very impressive on the wrist, I'll give it that. It does look lovely. So the leather is all right quality, it's pretty standard. It's just annoying that it hasn't actually bent yet. Hopefully with time it will, but I could do with it being more like that, so it fits around the wrist nicer. But at the moment that has not happened, and it's the longest strap that I've had to settle in, which is a bit annoying, but hopefully in time it will get there. So far so good. I mean, it has some flaws, but the fact that it's got a 28.8 beats per hour movement, high quality movement as well, quite a workhorse, and sapphire bezel, and also the sapphire crystal, it's very impressive. So let me put on a macro lens, and I will show you it in greater detail. We'll see how good quality the finishing is. So if I come closer. Okay, so immediately we can see there is some funny bits on the loom of the hands. Our hand's quite good. Second hand's quite good as well. But the minute hand, there is a bubble there. You see as well the text on the dial is quite good because it's raised. It's not printed straight on. It's got raised backing. So that shows that it's actually, you know, they've put more effort into it than they needed to. Sorry about my wobbly hands. Let's move on to the hour markers. So you see these hour markers digging into the retort. So that's nice. See the quality of the dial, the waves on the dial as well. It's pretty much flawless, the dial. I'm very impressed with the dial. The date window is nice, but the actual date wheel is a little bit grubby. You can see there on the 19, which is unfortunate. Let's look now at this great bezel. I mean, look at that. That is absolutely flawless. It is stunning. I really love the bezel. You can see there the misaligned pip, which is a bit of a pain. I think it was probably just glued on. So they've just missed out there, which is a bit of a bummer. Otherwise, it's really high quality, the bezel. I'm really impressed with it. The bezel also has this grip along the edge as well, which is quite nice to touch and feel. See the crown guard there. So, yeah. So very impressed with it. It's a good watch for the price. I would recommend it if you can get it.